Today we are in a property designed by award-winning architect Kate Otten. With over 30 years of experience, Kate is celebrated for her contemporary and context-sensitive designs.
This is an architectural gem, serving as her personal studio and event space, but it can also effortlessly transform back into a family home.
Kate has given her home the apt name of Lulu Katikati, meaning pearl in the middle in Swahili.
Kate, thank you so much for inviting me to this stunning property. Can you just tell me a little bit more about your background as an architect and interior designer?
I started as an architect in my own practice, actually 1 year out of university. So I've been doing this for going on 35 years now. I think for me, the important part about the work that we do is how it kind of integrates interiors, exteriors, landscaping, and that's kind of very much part of the language of how I conceptualize buildings. This piece of property is a very small piece of property in Melville, which is almost in the heart of the city. It's a very small piece of land that was meant to be a road, but the property is too steep, so it couldn't become that. So I bought this piece of property. In fact, when I was still a student, I borrowed money from my mother and bought it. And then I kind of sat on it for years. And this particular building is perhaps one of my most exciting constructions for self, I would say.
When it comes to the plot that it stands in, how did that inspire this?
The context of a building and of a space is informed by where it is. So from the point of view of the actual physical site, which in here is on a very steep slope and it looks out towards the north koppies of Melville, which are beautiful views, etc. And then this incredible Dombeya tree. And all those things became the kind of informants of how the space has been designed. You'll see that it's quite a simple rectangular space, and then it stacks up on 3 different levels. Conveniently, you enter on the middle level, and what's lovely about the site is there's this opportunity for a bridge, which I think is unusual, which has this kind of wavy window, but a much more sort of contemporary and fun one. You must remember it's my house, so I can do kind of what I want. One of the exciting parts about the design of this house was how I wanted it to be quite like the trees in which it is placed. So you'll see that there are these 6 very tall gum poles that are each 9.5 meters high, and they weighed half a ton each. Parts of the building sort of hang off these. I mean, I think that as architects we quite like to make things almost difficult for ourselves so that we have these challenges and these wonderful opportunities that arise out of that. So yes, those were all sort of very important informants in how the design came to be.
Talk about making every square meterage count. Now I'm so excited to explore the spaces you've already spoken about.
Come with me, let's go and see. So welcome. Here we are at the middle level of my house, and what you see is how it kind of integrates with the outside. Firstly, that you read now this one singular space, that then is the living room and the dining room at this stage, and you'll see that all the materials are unusual. So the walls are made out of plywood, obviously insulated, and then there's another material on the outside. And that instead of having one kind of vast sliding aluminium doors that open to a view, it's more around making variety of views. So just as that is an artwork that you look at, so the tree is its own kind of artwork.
Already I'm picking up so many different color palettes coming through, but they all seem to work perfectly together.
It is a vibrant space, and I think also that each level and each space that comes off those levels has a different kind of color language, and there are lots of different colors. Sometimes, for example, this space has got a lot of green in it and black, and if you look at the tree has got a black trunk and green leaves, so it kind of references the places beyond it.
Clearly you were quite intentional when it comes to the colors chosen within the space. Was the same intentionality placed on materials?
Very much so. So what you will see all over the place is the idea of reuse, recycle, and trying to make a building that kind of touches the ground lightly, quite sort of literally in the way that it hangs off the structure, but also how the material, so for example, the floor here is parquet that I collect over the years, but then how you take what that is a reused material and kind of transform it. So I've stained it very dark so that it gets a kind of new life about it.
Kate, I truly believe that the kitchen is the heart of the home, but walking into this living space, I'm not seeing a kitchen. Is there an element of surprise you've been able to incorporate?
So come with me, let me show you the kitchen. Here you see it looks like a wall,
yeah,
but in fact it's a door. And if you open that, the kitchen reveals itself.
I was about to say, it kind of feels like that angelic call. Pink is my favorite color and the kitchen is my favorite room.
Well, here you are, everything you need. And then what you can do is close it again once you've kind of made a mess and etc. in the kitchen, or you just want, privacy between the spaces.
When you're entertaining, messy dishes are not a problem. Just close the hidden door and leave cleaning up to later.
Stepping onto the third floor, which is the top floor of your home, I love the natural light coming in. It is open, it is airy, and it's bright.
This is very much about the bedroom space and how it's kind of light. The lightness of it is also about the color, but also about that you're up here in the sky. You also get the same idea about views out at lower levels. So from the bed, you see the sun rise. From that other bedroom, you'll see the sun set.
What is your design approach when it comes to the bedrooms and the more intimate spaces in the home?
So I like to use soft colors in a bedroom that are kind of quieter and more kind of cozy and intimate. We've got off-whites and grays and a lovely kind of charcoaly blue. And then I have a collection of these fabrics, which are from Madagascar.
I believe art plays a very important role in interiors.
Absolutely agree with you, and I think that the selection of art per space is very much about those spaces. So the bedroom, which is an intimate space, you can see here is a painting that my grandmother did, and over there is a painting that is done by a friend of mine of her daughter, who is my godchild, or dog child, because we both love dogs. And you can see they're quite sort of soft colors, quite ephemeral. And I think that that is, for me, about sleep and about the privacy and the intimacy of a bedroom space.
No family home would be complete without a bedroom for the children. And this space embodies a sense of warmth and sunshine, perfect for children of all ages.
Now this bedroom, it is giving me sunshine and roses and that ray of light.
So this is, I think, envisaged more as a child's bedroom. Wonderful views out over the koppies. You'll see also more cheerful, sort of brighter colors, and then the artworks following suit.
Throughout our conversation, you've been able to allude to the fact that each space has its own purpose. So I'm definitely looking forward to delve deeper into the very bottom basement level and to see the vibe and the mood that you've been able to accomplish there.
Absolutely.
Securely suspended between the natural rock face and a 100-year-old indigenous wild pear tree, it feels like a treehouse connected to both the sky and the earth.
Kate, we're at the lower level of the home, which feels more cooler and more grounded.
This level is very much about being in the rock face, part of the kind of rocks, and almost cave-like, I think, is how I would describe this space.
What was your design approach here?
So this level is kind of multi-purpose space, actually. We're currently using it as a studio. At the same time, it's a lovely family room. We had a big long table down here before. An event space is how we've used it. And that all opens out onto the outdoor living area, which is sort of on solid ground, not floating above as the others are.
Something else that keeps coming up is, walking into this room, you cannot ignore the lights. And you have been able to echo the same sentiments throughout the home. So what was your design approach when it came to all the lighting in the space?
There's a complete excess of lights. Not all of them switch on. Some of them are to kind of create the effect of a cloud. The idea is that there's the kind of a central cloud that is kind of illuminating this space.
Not only do you have this incredible building within the 3 layers that you've created in the home, but there's also a sneaky cottage in the garden.
The cottage has its own private entrance. It's a 1-bedroom cottage, beautifully equipped with, full kitchen, its own private deck.
Exploring your space, there's so many interesting standout features, but for yourself as an architect, interior designer, and also had a keen eye with the landscape, what is a unique standout feature for yourself?
So I think this entire house is unique. It's kind of unique in every respect, and something that I think is unusual. You continuously live in this space in different ways and in new ways.
You've truly created the perfect opportunity to experience an oasis, a retreat-like feel, but in the heart of Melville. Thank you so much, Kate.
It's been a pleasure.
As part of her commitment to molding the next generation of South African architects, she lectures internationally and mentors young practitioners. For Kate Otten, it's all about sharing her knowledge to help others grow.